At 6:42, the room is blue and cold. Your hand reaches for the tray and lands on the only watch you own. In that moment, the decision is already made, which should feel easy. Instead, it feels exposing. There is no weekend option, no boardroom option, no safer backup if the people in the room read you wrong. This watch will enter the office before your voice does. It will sit on the table in meetings, catch light when you shake a hand, flash in the bathroom mirror, and quietly tell people what kind of person you think you are. That is the comfort of one watch. No dithering, no costume change. But it also means the outfit must submit to it. The shirt, the shoes, even your mood start negotiating with the same steel, the same dial, the same worn strap. When you own one watch, the morning feels simpler. You feel more visible. If you own several watches, morning can stall in a ridiculous place. Your hand above the drawer, already late, still asking what version of you needs to walk into the office today. With one watch, that snag is gone. You fasten the same case, and your brain stops running a tiny social calculation before coffee. No double check at the mirror, no swapping after the shirt goes on. The relief feels minor, almost mechanical. Then you notice what it replaced. Each extra option was asking for a prediction: authority, ease, restraint, status. One watch ends that private negotiation. Getting dressed becomes a ritual, not a mood audit. You're not just saving time, you are lowering your baseline anxiety. The shift starts on an ordinary morning. You reach for the same watch without opening the box, and that tiny refusal changes the sentence in your head. You stop thinking, "I collect watches." You start thinking, "This is my watch." That is more intimate, but also more exposing. When you wear the same piece to work, to dinner, to bad days, people stop seeing a hobby and start reading a pattern. The scratches look like evidence, not damage. The strap crease fits your wrist like a confession. You cannot hide behind rotation anymore. The watch keeps returning the same question: is this really you? After enough days, answering it starts to feel less like style and more like character. The attachment starts at the front door, when you almost reach for another watch and don't. The drawer is empty, the shopping tabs are closed, the spare bracelet stays zipped away, and your brain reads that self-denial as commitment. Psychologists call this self-imposed scarcity. Once the easy alternatives disappear, attention stops scattering and starts bonding to the one object that remains. So this piece carries more than time. It carries your rushed morning in the bathroom mirror, your late train, your flat silence at dinner, the small drop in stress when the same dial is still on your wrist at 4 p.m. Choice used to dilute meaning. Constraint concentrates it. You made the watch rare by removing your own escape routes. The test comes the second someone notices it is the same watch again. At lunch, in the boardroom, under restaurant light, the repetition can either look stuck or completely sure. That is the risk, and that is why it matters. The one watch collector keeps making the same choice in public, with no costume change to hide behind. After a while, people stop reading the object and start reading the person. They seem settled, hard to impress. The signal is quiet, because nothing new is being introduced. It is just there in the cuff pull before a handshake, in the wrist near a wine glass, in the way the watch never seems to ask the room for permission. Consistency starts to look like status certainty. The hardest test of the one-watch life is not the drawer. It is midnight, when the room is quiet and your thumb is still moving. Your watch is on the table beside the phone, warm from your skin, scratched at the clasp, finished with another ordinary day. Then the feed opens. New release, new color, new promise. After 3 or 4 swipes, you can feel it in your body. Your jaw tightens, your chest leans forward, and your own watch suddenly looks smaller. That is the trick. The feed is not selling timepieces. It is selling upgraded versions of you. A titanium case for the disciplined you, a soft cream dial for the reflective you, a sharp black watch for the decisive you. The longer you look, the more stillness feels like failure. That is when the watch stops finishing the outfit and starts issuing the dress code. You do not ask what watch fits today. You ask which shirt keeps that steel case from speaking too loudly. Muted Oxford, soft cuff, jacket sleeve breaking just above the bezel. Then the habit spreads. Brown shoes instead of white. No loud pattern near the wrist. It feels practical, but it also tells on you. You trust that watch to keep your image coherent, so you build the rest of yourself around its calm. By then, getting dressed is not expression first, it is regulation. The watch is already on your wrist, and the outfit forms around it. The first scratch feels like a small financial emergency. Then, you keep wearing the same watch, and your brain starts filing emotion into the metal. The hairline mark near 12 stops being a flaw. It becomes the airport security tray and the face you tried not to look back at. The soft fade on the bracelet is weeks at the desk, grinding on the same edge while you wait for one email. The dent by the lug holds the night your keys hit the sidewalk in the rain and you laughed from pure exhaustion. This is how attachment works. Repetition gives one object more memory, cue power. Wear does not get diluted across a collection. It gathers in one place until the watch feels less owned and more remembered. You know you trust a watch when you reach for it before you reach for your phone. Same counter, same crown, 2 slow turns, a quick pull to the minute. The kettle starts its low hiss. Dawn is still sitting in the windows. Because it is the same watch, every morning, your hands stop negotiating. They remember. That repetition does something quiet and useful. It marks a boundary before the inbox, before other people, before the day begins taking from you. The watch is no longer just reporting time. It is cueing composure. Wind, set, check, strap, breathe. On rushed mornings, that tiny loop can settle scattered attention and return a sense of control. You sit down at the meetup table, and zipper cases peel open all around you. Steel on suede, gold under warm light. Then someone, casual as a handshake, asks, "What else do you have?" If you own one watch, your pulse notices before your mouth does. In one kind of room, saying just this one sounds edited, disciplined, expensive in a quiet way. In another, it triggers the tribe's status math. People hear absence and fill it with a story about caution, budget, or unfinished taste. You can feel the label change in the pause after you answer. Collectors do not only judge the watch, they judge whether your restraint feels like control or like a reason you never got further. You expect service day to feel responsible, almost grown up. Then the clerk slides your watch onto the tray and your wrist goes oddly light. On the walk outside, you still turn that bare skin up to check the time. At your desk, your cuff drops flat. At lunch, your thumb searches for the familiar edge and finds air. That reaction is the tell. The watch was not just information. It was a daily cue your brain used to start the morning, settle attention, and steady the person you present at work. When that cue disappears for a week, the habit keeps firing anyway. The empty wrist feels louder because the attachment was functional, not decorative. Service day exposes dependence better than buying day ever could. The split gets real the first time you check the resale price and realize you do not want the money. The number is public, the bond is not. On a listing page, your scratch bezel sits beside a clean market estimate. The market is counting steel, brand, demand, timing. It cannot count what this watch interrupted. Late night tabs, impulse bids, the low hum that says, maybe the next one will fix you. It cannot price the relief of one familiar case, one weight on the wrist, one small clasp click before work. So, the mismatch grows. To strangers, it looks easier to sell and easier to replace. To you, selling it would feel like deleting a stable version of yourself. At first, wearing one watch feels strict, like you are refusing options. Later, it feels like relief. You stop getting dressed for 10 different characters. The sharper one for the office, the richer one for dinner, the rugged one for a weekend you hope gets photographed. On the train home, your cuff slips back. The same worn case catches the carriage light. It has already been through coffee, a tense meeting, rain at lunch, and dishes after midnight. So it stops asking you to become somebody else. That is the shift. The watch is still just metal, a habit, a scratch near the clasp. But your identity no longer has to change with every room. At night, you set the watch back in its tray, and the room feels honest again. One watch does not kill desire. It lets you watch desire show up, polished and convincing, then leave without touching your card. By morning, getting dressed is no longer a vote between different characters. The worn case, the soft strap, the scratch near 6 already made the argument. That can feel calm. It can feel risky too. In a meeting, at dinner, in every reflection, the same watch keeps repeating the same message about you. This is who shows up. Fewer costume changes, a more consistent self.